Hello, it's July 2nd, Tuesday, and we discovered that our Red Haven peaches, which are the first ones of the season in our garden, are ready to be picked. And actually one jumped off the tree this morning, so I decided I better rescue the rest. I think there's only 2 left, actually. So we're going to head over here. This is where they are.
This was a tree we planted last year.
Here's one. All right.
We'll show you the other ones in the house. You already carried them in.
Okay. There's one here. Now the white stuff that's on them is the clay that we spray on them to keep interested birds and bugs away. So this should just come off very easily. Come in, you. I don't want. There we go.
That's how you can tell when they're ripe, if they come off easy. That one's a little snapped off though.
Oh, yeah.
How else do you tell if they're ripe? Give us the other clues.
When I take it in the house, I'll get my sponge. It has a slight scrubbing netting on it, and put a little dish detergent, and this all comes off. Right. Yeah, I wouldn't eat it, although this kind of clay actually is edible, but I don't think it would be to my taste.
So when you got a peach tree, how do you know when the peaches are kind of ripe and able to be picked?
Well, they start to have a softening of either the shoulders up here or at the bottom. And we noticed 2 days ago, Japanese beetle. These especially like peach trees.
They love our leaves and peach trees. That's why we have to put so much clay on them. Yeah, I don't want to see them. But they eat holes in your leaves, and they will eat that whole leaf. So she has to keep spraying them.
Yeah.
So the peaches on one side will be like a little green, and then they'll get a little pinkish color. So kind of when the green is gone, you know they're done for sure.
And the Red Havens don't turn a bright red all the way around. They're mostly pinkish, orange, and yellow.
Hold that up there. That's a huge peach, isn't it?
Yeah.
Holy
We
baby.
were very surprised when they got quite large.
Well, I had my fingers crossed that this tree would be the first one to give us peaches last year. And I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, now there's another one in here somewhere. Nope, I think it's over here. It is.
So when she ripens the mob peaches, we just put them, they're not quite 100% ripe, you just put them in a brown bag. Hold on, let me see it. Let me see it. Ah, okay, I see it.
And for people that live in Delaware, these are liable to be the ones that you'll have at your peach orchard first. If you go to a peach orchard to buy a bushel of peaches for peach jam.
Those are nice. Those are nice.
And I think that's the last 2. Although, you know, sometimes they hide them from you.
Yeah, you'll have to get in there. So to save this peach tree, last year it got attacked by the Japanese beetles, and we saved the peach tree. After the beetles probably defoliated the whole darn thing. So that's when we sprayed. And then the trunk down there keeps cracking. It grew so fast, and it's been cold and hot, too much water, not enough water, whatever. So Teresa's got the trunks painted now, painted white.
Plus I installed the drip line. Yeah, that's what this brown.
We now have drip irrigation, which we didn't have.
Yeah.
So, well, we've done this entire garden in a year, so we're still installing stuff.
Yeah.
So this was what? Red Havens?
Red Haven.
And what is this tree behind it?
That's a Loring.
So that's a Loring. Now, Loring are like the hairier or fuzzier ones, right?
No, they're
the red Loring.
They're deeper red. They're red all over.
Yeah.
But these.
So these are going to come later on, is what you were saying? They're not ready?
Yeah, these, but they have been dropping their fruit, which tells me they probably have an insect inside of some kind.
Maybe. This one got a lot of leaves on it. We were surprised by how much leaf growth.
I think.
Even though we cut it back, it's just taken off, and we don't want to prune it yet, but we need to.
There's 2 more left
look
in
how
there.
Little. They're little.
Yeah. Well, these are generally 3 weeks behind the Red Haven.
Yeah, that looks like it's 2-3 weeks. There's a couple of them there. Okay. So we're learning the peaches and trees as we go.
But now that the trees are bigger, they have a much better chance of surviving against the Japanese beetles. It was just getting them through that first year that was a little discouraging.
Yeah, it was. Okay, so the strawberries are still producing a little bit for us. The blueberries are producing in the back. We haven't really shown you that. And Teresa recently put in the sweet potatoes in grow bags. Those are over here. And you can see we've got emitter hoses in there now, trying to do drip irrigation if we can regulate it and get it all going properly. And I'll zoom out there. That used to be our potato patch. This year, that's all watermelons. So the watermelons are doing pretty good right now. And if you look over here on this end, and I'll zoom in again, sorry. You can see the lumber and stuff going in there. That area has been so low, and when it flooded last year, you can see our videos when we got flooded. It was too much underwater, so we're going to raise the soil level in there that much. We've got a lot of work moving dirt coming up. What else are you planning? Anything else?
Just to finish filling in the blueberry area so we can take them out of the tubs and put them in an elevated soil mixed with peat moss and at the proper pH.
Yeah.
Which is like 4.5 to 5.
Well, we gotta go get some more peat moss. I think I'm out of it.
Yeah.
So your tomatoes, how are they doing this year?
The tomatoes, cucumbers, and beans are crazy wild.
And well, we haven't done a vegetable garden. We have to do a vegetable garden update pretty soon.
It's open.
It's open. You want to do it? I'll press pause. We'll go over.
Sure.
Just you dig. All right, so we're over in what we call our vegetable garden area. And I could see the asparagus behind you. Holy cow.
It's doing much better this year.
So it didn't die?
No, I've been keeping track of the beetles, and so far there's no sign of asparagus rust.
Awesome.
Neem oil takes care of both of those. So
the asparagus rust at first kind of shows itself growing up the stem, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it's changed like a brownish color.
Streaky, striated brown through the lower part of the stem.
Yeah.
But I was worried about it. It was a mess last year. And then it flooded, and the puddles sat in the first bed here for about a week. And I thought for sure it was dead. And then we...
Took it a long time to come back, but it did come back.
Yes.
And then it got water mold.
Well...
and then there was a vole trying to dig in there. We had all kinds of challenges.
So I pulled all my carrots out, but I need the marigolds.
This was the carrot bed, guys.
I'm going to need the seeds, and also I generally take the leaves and kind of shred them up and lay them in areas where I'm going to have...
Oh, we got an airplane going overhead. Okay.
Whoops. Where I'm going to have root crops, because the leaves of the marigolds even have an oil in them that will chase away nematodes. Nematodes are what chews on the bottom of your carrots. The very bottom, as it's growing, it makes it fork out into multiple forks, and that's ugly. So we don't like that.
Carrots still taste okay, though. But,
yeah.
So are you going to do anything else in this bed, or is it just going to be dormant now for a while?
I haven't decided. I'm thinking I'm going to plant some cabbages in it.
Okay. Show me this monster here
this
that's
monster,
blocking our way.
I think it's actually two different... Let me go around this.
This guy has doubled in size in the last day with the rain. We finally had a little rain shower. Did you figure out what it is? It's a volunteer.
This is a volunteer. This came from our compost, from a seed that didn't break down. So I believe this is acorn squash. We had a lot of acorn squash volunteers last year. We certainly did. And it just really likes it here. I do try... Oh, here you go. Here's a squash bug right here.
Squash bug.
Yeah, get ready, lay eggs. Right there. And I'm going to squish it.
Teresa used to be squeamish with that.
Yeah, because they stink.
Not anymore.
No.
She just goes after it.
Squash bug eggs are little tiny, shiny gold egg clusters, generally underneath your squash leaves. Sometimes they'll get on your cucumbers, pumpkins, watermelons. They love that particular
Squash
flavor.
bugs are like a major challenge for most people.
Yeah.
So,
So-
there's another one or something.
I was looking for an egg cluster, but what I do is I just grab the cluster and rip it out. Some people carefully remove the
One leaf
eggs,
isn't
but
gonna. A leaf or two is not. All right, let's show.
oh, wait a
show
minute.
some other-
Here's one.
she's got an
Yeah,
egg cluster.
There we go.
Oh, I see it.
They're very
Let
pretty.
me zoom in. There it is.
That's squash bug. That's not squash vine borer. That's squash bug,
Okay.
which is a kind of a beetle, I think. I'm just going to take this leaf, throw it in the trash. Don't compost them. They'll hatch out and you'll just make the problem worse.
She's gonna put it in her pocket.
Maybe, yeah.
This guy volunteered here on the end. He's pretty.
That one is going out in front of my house. That's a red barberry.
He is pretty. Nice colors. All right. So what do we got here?
I
Some
did plant
tomatoes?
some lettuce in there, but I have to water it. This,
Oh, so
and
we're
this
trying
is a
to-
shade cloth.
Yeah,
It's just a regular sheet
it's a homemade
just-
shake off.
protecting the lettuce from too much sun.
All right.
This was a leftover tomato plant. Still not sure. Let's see. Looks like, yeah, it looks like it's a celebrity tomato. I plant celebrity tomatoes, a Roma tomato, and then one more kind, which was seeds that we got from a really large tomato at a farmer's market. We don't know what it is, but it's big.
That's local. So,
Yeah.
and let's go take another quick look around. Oh
So-
my gosh.
Here, come over here. This is the rest
wants
of
to
the
go over.
tomatoes.
She wants to do the tomatoes.
This is indeterminate. You can see it climbs above some of the other ones. And that's our giant tomatoes.
Wow,
This
they're
is-
almost ready, huh?
Yeah,
Another
I think
week?
it's doing a second batch. We
And Stacy
have,
puts up these. We reuse all this stuff we can find, so we just found this trellising material, and she just makes it up.
Yeah.
So we don't have to buy it.
this is the Roma tomatoes. I can't remember the variety, but I've tried 2 different paste tomatoes in Delaware and never had any success. And these are huge. I mean, they're paste tomatoes.
I don't know if we can see them. Oh, we can if I.
So
stand
I
up,
will
yeah.
definitely use this kind next year. See here, this is a paste tomato.
Wow,
See how big
look
it
how
got?
big they are. My gosh,
I
yeah.
know.
You can
This-
see here, Teresa uses old material, rags. to tie
Right.
up
Oh
her-
yeah.
We don't buy plastic clips or anything like that.
No. Yeah. See, this is another indeterminate.
So no early blight or anything yet.
No, not yet. The
Good.
determinants, the other kind of determinants are likely the celebrities, and then this big giant one. So I'm going to take for the end of the summer. I am getting ready to pull a slip off of one of these. You get it from the angle of the leaf and the main stem, and you pop this part off and stick it in a jar of water, and it will root if you're
Yeah.
patient, and change the water every couple days.
Yeah.
And then I'll put that in the ground, so I'll have tomatoes into October, hopefully.
If I put it in one of my insulated little building up there, you'll have them until December.
Now these they're starting to look sad, and they're supposed to, because these are storage onions and those are sweet onions. When they look like they're starting to sit on top of the ground, you cut the water off to them, and you let the greens get a little brown, and then you pull them all out and let them dry.
I was just going to say, why didn't you plant them in the ground?
They
I
were
do
planted.
all this work to make you compost and
They were in the ground. They
raise bed soil, and then you plant them right on top.
no.
Eh,
They did that to themselves. Aren't they beautiful? Wow. And no flowers this year. In some years, I've had flowers come up from the onions, and then that means you can't store the onion. You have to use it right away.
Okay.
So these are,
So we're pretty
Gorgeous.
much back there. The beds are done. They were cauliflower, broccoli, and cabbages.
oh, wait, come here, I'll show you.
Wait,
This-
she's going to show me.
Well, I had a couple broccoli that just didn't want to die.
Oh, I
So,
thought you had them all harvested already.
yeah, I harvested it, and this is from a side shoot.
Oh, that's a side shoot one?
Yeah, it's a
That's
side
big
shoot.
for a side shoot. My
Yeah.
gosh.
So, and there's a couple, two more
It
plants.
only did one? It didn't give you two?
Here's another one starting here.
Okay.
And there's a couple over there, but that was the first one I saw, and I left
another
it.
one under there.
Yeah.
Okay. So this year we decided to try the ground cover to keep the weeds down. I'm trying to help Teresa do a few things, you know, and getting the weeds under control. She spends a lot of time on weed control.
It did work. We did have problems with slugs though, because the slugs love that nice warm darkness under there. But I just got some organic slug bait and sprinkled it like once a month. I sprinkled it right on top of this. And then they suddenly left everything alone.
Yeah, and the weed barrier.
Yeah.
And then she made the holes. She had a little fun. She had her torch and she torched holes.
Yeah. Because this kind of weed block, it's fantastic, but it does fray. The strands come apart at any of the cut edges. So
are you going to do that again next year or not?
Well, I can reuse this. That one I cut too many holes in. I was getting greedy. So I had cut another hole down the center. So that one I might have to fold in half and put it somewhere else.
Okay.
Reuse it. And my cucumbers
so that's
are
cucumbers. So you're trellising the row now.
Well,
do you see that? She put a trellis on the row.
They were coming out into the path, so I gave them something else to climb up.
So they wouldn't block the whole path off. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
There are some baby cucumbers down in the first foot or so.
I don't know about seeing
Yeah,
those.
no. And so I'm keeping a close eye on them because I know how cucumbers are. There's lots of flowers.
Well, I see the flowers.
Yeah, these are, let's see.
Is that a cucumber
these
there,
are male,
or is that a flower?
These are male flowers here. But wait, that's what a female flower looks like. It's not opened yet though.
Okay.
So in a couple more days, it'll get bigger and it'll open. And then I'll be out here every day. And then these are beans. They are getting hit by the Japanese beetles.
String beans.
I always grow pole beans because they're easier for me to pick.
Yeah, you got to get a ladder and get all the way up there.
But
they won't grow at the top.
It beats bending down. Like they grow at the top and then they come back down. So no beans yet. You can see the Japanese beetle damage. It hasn't gotten bad yet. I did put milky spore throughout all my gardens and then about 10 feet out from the boundaries of the gardens. Keeping my fingers crossed that the population will be lower this year. The milky spore stays in the soil from 10 to 20 years.
All right. So this is a kind of a long update, but do you want to press pause and go over and show the watermelons and cantaloupes or not?
Okay.
All right. We'll go over to the watermelon patch. Okay. We're on our way over to the watermelon patch, but this is the compost area. And look at the size of that guy. He's another volunteer. This area is normally all compost, but this is the pile I'm working on now. It's cooking at 200 degrees. And I use a lot of shredded cardboard, as you could tell. But green, actually, this time of year is actually hard for us because it doesn't rain enough and we don't get enough grass growing. All right, I'm going over to the watermelon patch. All right, so this is the watermelon patch, and right away you can tell we have some of the weed barrier on the ground here, which we didn't have last year. So that's just for our convenience. And what did we plant here? I think I feel a vole right here.
It's very possible.
Yeah, there's one underneath my foot. We got some new traps for them, voles and mole traps. So
we have cantaloupe. Some of it was seeds from a cantaloupe that I got in the supermarket, which turned out to be very good. That's very unusual because most of the vendors that provide the supermarkets with cantaloupe, they pick the cantaloupe, they pick the melons before they are ready to get ripe. So that means they don't get as sweet and they don't get as soft. Or sometimes they have a sweet variety that's crunchy and sweet, which I don't like either. And then I can't remember the variety of the other cantaloupes, but the watermelons are crimson sweet, which is a standard every day. You can find it at Lowe's or whatever, the seeds. But it did fantastic for us last year. We had a 31-pound crimson sweet watermelon, and it was delicious. So I might have overplanted. I planted them in hills. You make a big mound of dirt.
I'll say she overplanted.
And you put maybe 4 seeds in it, and then you thin it out to the best 3. So I had 12 mounds, had 36 plants.
36 plants.
Yes.
Well, I'm never going to eat all that watermelon. We bought a little slushy making machine, so we freeze some 1-inch cubes of watermelon, and then we make watermelon slushies now. But I'm going to bet that these guys spread out and go up these fences all the way around. And, well, we had paths. I don't think we're going to have paths. But here, send me one of these guys. How to look at the flowers. Who's pollinating these? Do you know?
It looks, this year we have a lack of pollinators right now because it's very dry. So a lot of the flowers have died, and but there are wasps that will pollinate as well.
Did you have any little watermelons anywhere yet?
Nope, not yet, but they will surprise you. Last year, 1 week, I didn't see anything, and the next week we had 6-inch diameter melons, so you can never tell. These kind of...
Is that one right there?
Vegetables, what, this?
No, in there.
Oh, very good. Look at that. There you go. Although, I don't know. Yeah. I hope that's...
So we're getting a little watermelon. Hope that's not...
That's a cantaloupe.
A cantaloupe, I'm sorry.
Yeah. The plants generally send out the male flowers first, and then later on the female flowers start. So don't be surprised if you see all flowers on your cantaloupe and watermelon and you don't see any baby melons. It may be just a little bit too early. So this, everybody knows the watermelons are the ones with lots of fingers. There's the ones in there and over here, and they actually really expand fast. But
so our channel's called Garden for Two. It's Teresa and Charlie and me. So we try and grow enough stuff for both of us, and then we have a few farmers that give us like some cow manure, horse manure, so we grow a little bit extra so we could give them some, and they feed it to their animals or they eat it themselves. But we're trying to grow everything on our own. We're here in Delaware, if you don't know us. And what are we, Zone 7A?
yeah, I think so.
And so that's what it looks like in Zone 7A. And she's pointing out.
Baby watermelon.
Oh, I got to spin around here a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll put it in my shadow. There it is. We got a baby watermelon with a bug on the stem.
Yeah, they're ants.
Ants. So anyhow, we try and grow everything for the two of us that we can. And we learned how to do pressure canning this year for the first time. We haven't made any videos of that, but there's plenty of them out there. But if anyone needs to know that, we can certainly help out with that. But our videos are not professionally made. We don't really edit them. They're just for us, the diary, what's going on, and when we planted things. Teresa is 69, going to be 70. And I am 69, going to be 70. We're pretty proud of that. But my gosh, it's just the two of us. There are no hired hands here that taking care of all of what we just showed you. So it can be done. And we got a lot of deer around here, so there's a lot of deer fencing that had to go up. And our ground was all clay, and we have just been adding compost and whatever we can each year to make the soil better. So that's our garden, and we didn't go over all the trees and everything that's over in the orchard area. But this video is long enough for today. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe and all that stuff. I don't, if you like it, that's fine. If you have questions, put it in the comments. I kind of read the comments, and I'll get Teresa to answer your questions for you. So it's, what is it, Tuesday, July 2nd? Happy 4th of July, guys. All right. Bye-bye.